This is the Secondary 2 Honors Module 7 video number 6. This is the last video for this module. So we're going to do a couple of application problems with rational equations. So example number 1, if Lindsay can clean the house in 4 hours and Olivia can clean the house in 3 hours, how long will it take them to clean the house if they work together? So let's think about this as two different jobs. So Lindsay can do a fourth of the job per hour. Olivia can do a third of a job in an hour. Now if they work together, that means that they're putting their efforts together and they're going to do one entire job, which is one whole house in this case. So now we've got our rational equation, and sometimes just setting up the equation is the hardest part. So now if we look at that as two fractions that we're going to add, and so we have to have common denominators. So we've got a denominator of 4 and denominator of 3, so that would make my common denominator 12. So this one needs a 3, this one needs a 4, and this one needs a 12. So I'm going to have 3x plus 4x equals 12. So 7x is equal to 12. X is equal to 12 sevenths. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that it will take them 12 sevenths of an hour for them to clean the house together. So that works out to be 1.71 hours, which is approximately 1 hour and about 43 minutes. And that's our answer. Okay, next question, example number 2. Michael runs 2 hours per hour faster than he walks. If Michael runs 15 miles in the same time that it would take him to walk 10 miles, at what speed does he run and at what speed does he walk? So I'm looking for our distance equals rate times time. Let's remember that one. I'm looking for the speed. I don't know. The distance that he runs is going to be 15 miles, and the distance that he walks is going to be 10 miles. And the time is going to be the same time. So if we just look at this as two different pieces, so he runs 2 miles per hour faster than he walks. So the rate that he walks is going to be W, and he can run at W plus 2. So whatever W is, add 2, and that's his running speed. The distance that he's going to run is 15 miles, and the distance he's going to walk is 10 miles. So if we say distance equals rate times time, and distance equals rate times time. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to solve for time for the rate, or W, that's what I don't know, but I've got two variables, and so what I'm going to do to make this easier is, because it's the same time, if I solve for t, so I'm going to have t is equal to 15 divided by W plus 2. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because since my time is the same, I'm going to set those two equations equal to each other, and then it will be really easy to solve for W, which is the speed that he's going to walk. Once I've got it to looking like this actually is just a proportion, so I can just use my cross products. 15W is equal to, and then don't forget to distribute 10 times W plus 2, so that's 10W plus 20 equals 15W. Get your W's all together. 5W is equal to 20, and so W is equal to 4. Well, whoops, 4. What does that mean? That means that his walking speed is 4 miles per hour. That would make his running speed 6 miles per hour. Okay, last example. In the first 2 hours of a baking contest, Rin has decorated an average of 11 dozen cupcakes per hour. So 2 hours, 11 dozen cupcakes per hour. She needs to decorate 14 dozen cupcakes per hour to meet the minimum standard. She has been able to decorate 16 dozen cupcakes per hour before. For how many consecutive hours will she need to decorate 16 dozen cupcakes in order to have an average of 14 dozen cupcakes per hour? So is it even possible for her to do this? So if we stop, and we've got to think about how averages are calculated. So if she does 11 dozen cupcakes in 1 hour, and 11 dozen cupcakes in another hour. That means she's done 22 cupcakes. Since it was for 2 hours, that's how we get the 11 dozen average. Now maybe she didn't do 11 both hours, maybe she did 10 one hour and 12 another hour, but it would add up to be 22. So the thing that I don't know is I don't know how many more times she's going to have to decorate cupcakes, but I do know how fast she's going to have to decorate them, or how fast she potentially could decorate them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think this in pieces. And so if I say, okay, the first 2 hours, we've got that many cupcakes. Now for a certain amount of hours, which I don't know, she's going to decorate 16 dozen per hour. So 16 times however many hours this is going to happen. Unknown. When I add that all up to get the average, I'm going to divide by how many hours she's worked. Now here's my X hours that she's doing this, but she already had 2 more, so my actual time is going to be X plus 2. And then I need the average to be 14. And so if I look at this equation, if I look at this equation, 11 plus 11 is 22, plus 16x divided by x plus 2 equals 14. You can actually just solve that as a proportion and find out how many more hours she's going to have to do 16 cupcakes per hour to make this happen. So we can do that. So 1 times 22 plus 16x equals, and then 14 times x plus 2. So 22 plus 16x is equal to 14x plus 28. I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides, 14x. So I'm going to get 2x plus 22 is equal to 28. I'm going to subtract 22 from both sides, and I get 6, so x is equal to 3. That means she's going to have to go for 3 more hours at 16 dozen for each of those hours to get an average of 14. So that would be helpful if we knew that the contest only lasted for 4 hours. She would know that she can't possibly get it done if 16 is the best she can do. So we don't know how many hours it is, so we don't really know if it's completely possible, but we know what she would have to do. So it would be a total of 5 hours. So the question was, for how many consecutive hours will she need to decorate 16 dozen cupcakes? So that would be for 3 hours. She's already done 2 hours at 11 dozen each. So that's the answer. Okay, you're now prepared to finish your practice worksheet packet. And then you'll grade it and be ready to take the test for module number 7.